What's going on, guys? Today we're going to be replacing the OEM shift knob in this 6th Gen Camaro with a tall teardrop from Billetworkz. So whenever you guys order your shift knob from Billetworkz, you are going to get an adapter included. One thing we do recommend also adding to your car as well is going to be the boot retainer for this car. It's just going to make a cleaner install overall, so we're going to be putting one of those in today. You don't need to get it, but again, we highly recommend it. So the first step here is going to be popping out the shift boot. So I recommend getting a trim tool. You can do it without, but we always recommend using trim tools to avoid breaking anything. You're just going to stick it in between the chrome piece and the shift boot here and kind of pull and wiggle and pry at the same time. It'll pop right on out. That one came out real nice. The next step, you're going to need a T25 Torx bit because there is a Torx on the driver's side part of the shift knob here. Nice little tip to help get this out, as in the neutral position, it's a little tricky. Actually put it into reverse. Just gets you a little better, easier access to that Torx screw that's on the side here. Once you have that Torx bolt out, the shift boot and shift knob will just come right off like that. So for the next step, we're gonna have to separate the shift boot from the shift knob itself here. So it is glued in between this little retainer ring and the shift knob. But to separate it, I like to grab the boot, pull this way, and then push on the shift knob at the same time. And it'll just pop out. So we did have this already apart, so it is a little bit easier. But it's just glued in from the factory, so you just kind of got to work your way around it. We recommend doing it this way and not pulling it this way, just to help avoid ripping of any stitching or of the boot itself. So once that's separated, then you can kind of just go ahead and go like this. So now before we actually install the knob itself, we do have to put the shift boot back on, so we're going to go ahead and do that. We're not going to snap it into place yet. We're just going to kind of set it there and push it down for the time being. So the next step after you put your boot in would be to install the adapter. If you have a boot retainer like we're going to do here today, you would put that on now. If you don't, you would just simply slip on the adapter and not have to worry about this step. But since we do have the boot retainer, we're going to go ahead and put all of this on as one, like so. And then we're actually going to go ahead and put our shift knob on while screwing that down. I'm going to go ahead and just snug all that up by hand. Now, the reason why we put the knob on now and we didn't tighten these set screws is so if we have an engraving on here, we have the ability to turn all of this and set the engraving straight. So if you had an engraving, that's what you would do for that. But since this one we don't really have to worry about that. So we're going to go ahead and now set these set screws in place so the whole assembly doesn't move. So whenever you do set these set screws, sometimes moving the shift knob different places and different gears will make this easier. So for some of these back ones, I'm gonna put it into third or first, whichever's easier for you. For these front ones, I'm gonna pull it back into fourth. There's 4 total then you're gonna be setting. And to double check that these are nice and tight, I do like to pull up on this pretty good. We're not going anywhere. So now the next step is going to be actually putting the boot onto the boot retainer. So now a little tip, whenever you go to install your boot, we do give you a flush mount zip tie. You're going to want to make sure that this flush mount part sits on the flat side of the boot retainer itself. We're going to pull it up, hold it in place so it's flush. Take the zip tie, wrap it around. It's okay if it falls, we'll just readjust it before we lock her down fully. I kind of like to take the flat part of the zip tie and kind of hold it there in place while I tighten her up. I'm gonna go ahead and trim the excess here. Then we're gonna go ahead and fold the boot down. Just double check how it looks. I think it's looking pretty good. Just a slight rotation there. And then once all that's ready, just go ahead and clip the boot back into place. And just like that, your shift knob is now complete. Thank you for checking out the installation video of this Billetworkz tall teardrop in the 6th Gen Camaro. We appreciate it as always. Be sure to check out billetworkz.com for other parts and accessories for your car, along with other shape, colors, and different engraving options that we got for you. Thanks. We'll see you next time.